everybody? It is Friday, February 5th, 2016. This is Radio Tokyo. I'm your host, Jonathan, and we have a super special guest back again. This time, he's actually more special than Nick is at this point in time. And if you're a long time listener, you know that Nick is not really important. I don't even know why he's here. I think he just is like a lost puppy. But hi Brandon, welcome back to the show, and then Nick will get to you in like 10 minutes. When we're done actually talking about it. But hi, Brandon. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good, minus a case of food poisoning. Yay! No, really, I have food poisoning.
You got food poisoning?
Yeah.
That's kind of terrible. I am sorry.
I blame Nick.
That.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know how I'm being blamed, but if it makes you feel better,
Nick, the reason you're being blamed...
If it makes you feel better, Brandon, that's okay. You can blame me.
It will help me sleep at night, that's for sure.
I'm glad that I can be of assistance to making you feel better.
The reason you're being blamed is because there's two of us versus you. So, strength in numbers.
You can always pick random political figures and blame them too, though.
Well, except the thing is that Brandon makes much more sense than you, and you just kind of rant, and yeah. So you don't even really count.
Well, see, okay, look,
like Hillary Clinton doesn't count.
No. Why did you have to steal my thing? Because now I got a bitch about Hillary Clinton.
Well, I mean,
no. Hang on. You may as well mute your mic. You may as well mute your mic. You may as well mute your mic. Okay. Those of you who listened to the show before, you know I'm a Republican. I'm all in favor of Republican ideals, but I'm a Bernie Sanders supporter. I'm not going to justify that right now. I want to say some things about Hillary Clinton, okay? If you're actually watching the show, you're seeing my new favorite graphic, settle for Hillary because real change is too hard. It's the truth. Last night during the debate, she got angry at Bernie Sanders because he was talking about money and politics and how she's part of the establishment. And I am all in favor of that. We've had Todd Jagger from Wolfpack on here before, and I am in favor of getting money into politics. I think it's a wonderful idea, beautiful idea. It ends the corruption, gets everything back in favor of the people. Well, Hillary Clinton's top donors, which we've discussed on the show numerous fucking times now, are all banks and corporations. She takes big money. In fact, she makes more money per speech than the president currently does every year. Okay, she makes $600,000 per speech, and the president gets $400,000 a year. Okay, that's not cool to me.
Does she want to be president?
Yes, she wants to be president. She wants to be president, so she can make another $400,000 a year. That's not cool. I don't like this idea, okay? She essentially makes, per speech, what Bernie Sanders' entire life savings is. He has enough to maybe buy like a new car.
Jonathan paid me $20 to come on the show again.
I didn't pay $20. I gave,
right?
I gave you like...
Yeah, I would like to get paid. I would like to get paid $600,000 every time I come on the show.
I think it would be cool. See, but here's the thing. I don't have that kind of money to pay you. I have to ask you nicely to be on the show, and you're nice enough to be on here because that's diplomacy. I'm not buying your words from you. Like, I'm asking you to share your ideas, and that's why I like Bernie. He's all in favor of diplomacy and making deals. But no, last night he was talking about this, and Hillary decided to get angry and interrupt him and called it an artfully crafted lie, or whatever it was. But I don't remember what the last word. I was too busy screaming at my computer over this snarky reaction she had to him, and it was literally so unpopular in the audience that a room full of Democrats were booing her. The Democrat frontrunner is being booed by the people she wants to win over in the next state that's going to cast votes for her. Okay? They're in New Hampshire, and she's being booed by the people she needs to support from. And she's telling these stupid...
I'm hoping she gets destroyed.
I'm sorry. I hope she does. I sincerely hope her campaign goes down in flames. I really hope it does. I hope this is the last damn time we have to see Hillary Clinton because she has been involved in politics since before Watergate. Okay, last night she stood up on the stage and was talking about how, well, she's been involved in civil rights. No, no, you might be now. You might be now at nearly, when you're, pushing 70 years old and it's near the end of your career, you might be involved in it now, but you weren't the one being arrested in protest in favor of civil rights back in the 60s and 70s. That was Bernie Sanders. Hillary in the 60s and 70s was being involved in Watergate, and she was being dismissed from the Watergate investigation for telling lies. Fraudulent behavior is, I think, the way it was described. She's telling lies to this commission that's investigating a corrupt politician. And last night, she kept saying, well, campaign finance reform is my important thing. I'm going to attack Wall Street because Wall Street's been attacking me. No! If you're going to go after all these banks and corporations and shit, why are they your top donors? Why are you taking money from them? Like, the $600,000 thing actually comes from Goldman Sachs, okay? Goldman Sachs has had someone in the cabinet of every president since Ronald Reagan, okay? Every president. In fact, when she pointed out in the audience, pointing out Howard Dean, who, you might remember a few years ago went, whoa, one or two times at a speech, sitting next to him was one of the top lobbyists for Goldman Sachs as her supporter. Okay? The apple does not fall very far from the tree with Hillary Clinton. She's bad for America. She's going to be... She's bad for the world. I'm sorry. She's corrupt. She needs to go. Literally, Hillary could run as a Republican and get elected. She could do that. It's like Donald Trump saying... It's like Donald Trump saying he's a Republican. Trump is a Democrat, but he has switched his positions so many goddamn times over the year that he's now running as a Republican, and it pisses me off, and it makes me angry. And last night, rather than being constructive in, because I like to live tweet the debates because I like to be part of the national discourse over this. Rather than being civilized and being normal, I had to get away from the TV. Like, I had to stand up and walk out of the room because I was getting so angry about what this woman was saying. It's ridiculous. I really want to know why someone could possibly support her because she's so bad for America. So please, everyone, do yourselves a favor. If you are a Democrat right now, vote for Bernie in the primaries. And if you change your mind and he didn't get the nomination, vote Republican in November. Do it because she doesn't need to be in office. She's already had her 8 years in the White House.
I have to vote for a woman to show that I'm not
also
sexist.
end badly.
What's that?
I have to vote for a woman to show that I'm not sexist.
Oh, no,
it's fun to have a woman
no.
president, whether it's a good president or not.
See, that would be like voting for Obama because he's a black man. Now, I understand the first time around that being a thing. You wanted to cast your vote for a historic reason. Okay, that's cool. I understand when wanting to be part of that. But the reality is, no, just no. Like, sincerely, if anyone's going to do that, you're a moron. You don't vote for someone because of the color of their skin. You don't vote for someone because they're a man. You don't vote for someone because they're a woman. You don't vote for them because they're 18 feet tall and will give you $10 million for a vote. You don't do that. You vote for them based on the issues. And Hillary Clinton is running on the issues that Donald Trump has supported. For those of you who are wondering, Donald Trump wants to take your guns. Hillary wants to take your guns. There you go. If you're against Trump for his Second Amendment things, you ought to be against her because they're on the same platform. They're buddies. They spend their time together. They've been to one another's friggin' weddings. I'm tired of this shit. This woman does not need to be elected.
I kind of think this election would be a lot better if Donald Trump was running as a Democrat and Hillary was running as a Republican.
She needs to. They need to switch to the stages that they're on. They really do, because he has. I'm serious. I'm serious. He has switched his stances on everything, just like she has. But yet they're so popular. Donald Trump, such a conservative. No, he's not. No, he's not. One of the talking points for conservatives is abortion. Being against abortion and Planned Parenthood and stuff like that. Well, Donald Trump nearly killed his nephew. His nephew, who was having seizures so bad that it would have killed him without the medication. And Trump nearly let this child die. He nearly let a baby, an infant, die because he wanted to screw over his brother because his brother did not take, the advice of their dad. No, that is not a conservative value. A conservative value in being pro-life is not saying I want to bomb the shit out of people on the other side of the globe until until the earth starts glowing at night. No, you don't.
See,
That is not being pro-life.
That's why I said voting for Republican might not be a good idea. Because several Republicans have said that.
It's not. And I'm saying this as a Republican. I am willing to attack my own party because I'm sorry. If you're pro-life, you're pro-life. Okay? You're pro helping the newborn child, but you're also pro helping the child, after they become a child and able to actually function, and they're not some little thing that could die, like if you leave a little kid alone, they might be able to find their way out of the woods. A baby can't, If you're pro-life, you should be pro-life from birth until death. That's my stance, okay? And this whole nonsense of those brown people in the green parts of America need to die because they're different from us, because they have different ideas from us. No, that's not pro-life to me. And believe it or not, that's what Hillary says. Hillary is willing to bomb people that she will never meet because they're different from us. And it pisses me off. It pisses me off. She was asked last night, how are we going to get out of the quagmire over there in the Middle East? She's like, I don't know. We're going to have allies, and we're going to have to send troops back there. Oh, but Obama's idea of taking the troops out was a good idea, but now they have to go back. No, don't stand there on the national stage.
Never took the troops out to begin with. I'm still waiting.
We should have never been there. I'm sorry. Bernie Sanders is the only candidate who actually acknowledges how much of a fuck up that was for us. This is the worst time that the United States has ever been involved in anything, and we have destroyed the nation of Iraq, okay? Which, by the way, should not have been a country to begin with. We have ruined it. Iraq is now 3 separate countries. No one wants to acknowledge it. Syria is ripping itself apart at the seams, and we're involved in this giant proxy war that if someone gets just a little bit more pissed off, we might possibly be facing World War III. That's on us. That is on the United States. That is on decisions like Hillary Clinton making.
Isn't in power, but if it takes 10 years to try and conquer a country, you picked the wrong country.
Exactly.
Nobody learned from history. Russia tried this. It didn't work.
Well, it was just horrible planning all around. I mean, if you're gonna go in and conquer a country, which is what we did, we went in and took over a country. We invaded a free country.
It only took us 3 days, too.
Yeah. If you're gonna go do that, then you have to stay there and conquer it.
Oh, hey, here's the best part about this. Here's the best part of this. See, here's the thing. A lot of Republicans say, well, you can't blame everything on Bush. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I damn sure can, because it was Bush's idea to go and invade these countries, okay? And here's the thing. Here's the thing. 2 days after 9/11, we flew 13 members of the Bin Laden family out of this country at taxpayer expense. The Bin Laden family. Recognize that name? The crazy asshole over there in the cave who wanted to fly planes at our buildings? From the country that sent, I think it was like 13 out of all the hijackers were from there. Saudi Arabia, our great, wonderful allies that we have all this terrific oil deals with. The people over there who stone gay people to death, who cut your hands off for being a thief, and who kill women for being raped. Those people, those are our allies. The crazy people over there, those are the good guys over there, right? No, they're not. I'm sorry, they're not. Osama bin Laden's the bad guy. His family should not have been flown out of the country at our taxpayer expense because George W. goddamn Bush wanted to do it because he got a good deal when he started an oil industry back in the 80s here in Texas. No, screw that, okay? I'm sorry. It's also come out recently that the Joint Chiefs of Staff actually issued memos about this, and they and it was talking about the weapons of mass destruction over in Iraq. All these things that we have to go get because people like Hillary were saying we had to go get them because, yes, she supported the war. She was entirely in favor of it. She voted for it. You know who didn't vote for it? Bernie Sanders, because he's not dumb and he realized what could happen. But no, she voted in favor of it. So we lost something like 3,500 American lives during the actual war. Now it's somewhere upwards of 7,000
Casualties
people.
were a helicopter that flew into a mountain.
Yeah, yeah. There's thousands of dead people from our country because of people like Hillary Clinton, because she supported this idea that the Joint Chiefs of Staff said was a bad idea because 75 to 90% of their information was incorrect. 75 to 90% of our information about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq was incorrect. We didn't know what was there. That's why Donald Rumsfeld got up and said, there are no knowns and known unknowns, and things we know and things we don't know. That was the justification for going into Iraq. I'm sorry. It is time for a change. It's time to vote for Bernie Sanders because he's the only person who's a candidate right now who has had the exact same stance on every issue for 40 years. Vote for Bernie. And that's the end of my rant. I'm sorry I took up that much time with it, but that's the end of my rant.
And now for the other side of the issue, Nick.
Yeah. Nick, and your very special rant that you've been wanting to do for a long time.
Oh, well, my issue is actually something of a different nature or matter. And this has to do with toys, actually. So you might be a little more interested in this one, Brandon.
Woo! I would say with Jonathan, it's good to have. One should look for integrity in the people they're voting for.
Yes.
Even if you disagree on the issues that they support, it'd be nice to find somebody with integrity.
And Bernie seems to have a lot of integrity. A lot of integrity. He's a man I respect, even if I don't agree with all of his views or opinions. But anyways, so you guys remember the Star Wars toy lines that came out after the new movie, right?
Oh yes, I've been kind of collecting little pieces here and there that can help with my stop motion. Mostly human heads.
Yes. Now I have a question for you. Did you have any trouble finding Rey figures or figures of Rey?
Yes, I searched all through Walmart and couldn't find her the other day. It was rather frustrating. They had everybody but her. Well, I heard that maybe they didn't release her right away, so they didn't give away the stuff in the movie about her.
Yeah, it was.
The movie came out like at Christmas time. It's time to release that figure.
The figures are not supposed to be released until March, I think. Like whenever the hell the second wave comes out. But it was supposed to be intentional because they didn't want to have spoilers. Okay, so there's nothing involving Daisy Ridley action figures or any merchandise at all. Even though we all know that she's in the movie. It's like she's all over, like everything else for it. But there's no toys of her.
So I haven't found an old Han Solo either.
Hello?
Welcome back.
Hello?
That was weird. I'm sorry, people. I got disconnected. Anyways,
I blame
back
Brenda.
to what I was saying.
It's
Well,
true.
yeah, I did get blamed this time. Anyways. So, what they initially said was they didn't want to release the Rey toys because they didn't want to reveal that Rey was the main hero for the story. Because when you look in the trailers, it looked like Finn was the main hero for the story. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they had him holding the lightsaber when he was facing Kylo Ren. Like, they were very, very secretive about Rey's role in the movie. At first you think, okay, I guess that sort of makes sense, right? Sure. However, I found an article, and apparently this was not the case at all. Apparently, J.J. Abrams, the director, is very upset with uh, um, what the toy industry has done with Rey, because apparently they did not make the Rey toys, they did not include her in the sets, or anything of that nature, because they thought no boys would want to play with her.
Look, this is going to be me being sexist right now, but have you seen Daisy Ridley?
I mean,
I'd want to
she
play with
said
her.
that
I'll,
was a horrible thing
I'll
to say.
just say it. I
I'm
wouldn't
going
mind
to
Daisy Ridley.
apologize to the audience right now for John. I'm just going to say sorry. I'm sorry, Brandon. I don't know why he's here right now. But yeah. Anyways.
What? She's attractive. She is.
Should have made her as a
Now,
toy.
yes, I know you're talking about the toys, but see, here's the thing.
They got Princess Leia. They've got all these other girls in Star Wars toys
Exactly.
that they've made over the years. And of course, they're probably going to make her, but it seems like only after a lot of attention got drawn. Whether it was a good plan originally or a not good plan originally, it's giving them a lot of negative flack.
Now, here's my problem. Here's my problem with this. Because normally I would just say, okay, people are overblowing this, or, you know, it's not as big a deal as whatever. But she's the main fucking character.
Uh-huh.
She is the main
True.
goddamn character. She's the one that beats Kylo Ren. She's the one that goes find Luke. She is the main fucking character in the movie. I mean, how can you not include her in the toy line? How? How? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. It doesn't make
Because
any
they didn't want
goddamn
to
sense.
spoil it, Nick. They didn't want, but see, here's the thing.
That is the most bullshit excuse I've ever heard.
It is stupid. And see, like you said, you know, little boys don't want to play with her. Little boys are going to find her attractive. Okay. The first piece of advice she was given by Carrie Fisher is just be aware that people are going to masturbate to you. That was the first damn thing Carrie Fisher said to her. She's a sex symbol now. She is viewed by a lot of people as being physically attractive, which she is. Don't get me wrong, she is. She's quite attractive, okay? Um, but that was the reaction she got. They're going to just go crazy over you. And that's what happened. Like she was virtually almost entirely unknown. And then when she shows up in the commercials, oh, who is that? Like Google searches and whatnot show this. People wanted to know who she was, and they found her out. Okay, like the 18 to 35-year-old young man aren't, you know, like the male audience is the ones who went crazy over her. So saying that
I'm not even worried about them. I'm not even worried about them. I don't even care about her being a sex symbol or older men going crazy or any of that bullshit right now. What I care about is there are little girls and little boys that want to play with a goddamn Rey doll or action figure and do things, play with her in toys in the sets and have her fight Kylo Ren, and they fucking can't. And it doesn't make any goddamn
by
sense.
Hasbro to make all that money selling Star Wars toys, which are mostly a boy franchise, to girls.
I mean,
because now they don't have to be Princess Leia or, you know, some random character that no one likes, you know, who's just there for the sake of, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I can understand a lack of Princess Leia toys. I can understand that. She wasn't really in the fight scenes. You know, she's a character, but, you know, there wasn't much that she did. I'm sorry. Other than maybe in the third movie, there wasn't much that she did. I can understand there not being a lot of what's her name from the episodes 1 through 3. See, I don't even remember her name.
Padme.
Yeah, that's how unimportant she is. I can understand there not being a lot of toys of her, but Rey is the main fucking character in the goddamn movie.
She is,
She is
and
the main
but see,
hero.
like everything you're saying is what I was going to get at. Okay, here's the thing: she's popular. Okay, little boys are going to want to buy the action figure. Little girls are going to buy their. Now, here's the thing: J.J.
I
Abrams
looked for her last week. She's not there.
Exactly.
She's not.
Randy can't find her.
Her merchandise will not be out until March. Why? Like you said, she's the main character in the movie. She is who the Force away. Now, granted, Finn, has his own awakening, and even on the poster, you see Finn. Even on the
Look at the
poster,
posters.
you see Finn with a lightsaber. But who is dead center in the poster? Rey. Rey. She ends the movie. The last shot in the movie is her. Well, it's technically her. But yes, people are going to want to buy merchandise of her. Like whatever reason it is that gets people interested in her, they're going to want to.
Much issue. Hasbro is massive. Think of all the toy companies you had as a kid. Where are they? Where's Kenner Toys?
Bought out by Hasbro.
Gone. Everything that Kenner made, that is still made today, is made by Hasbro. Playmates Toys used to be the primary producer of Marvel action figures. Where's Playmates today? Jed, who makes Marvel? Hasbro. Hasbro is so huge, I think they're starting to get into that stage where they're too big to care.
And this is what pisses me off. Because fucking Hasbro had some fucking executive who probably didn't even watch the goddamn movie, just sitting there in the executive room and be like, oh, it's a girl's toy. Why are you making a girl's toy? That doesn't belong
Says the company that makes My Little Pony.
And ordinarily, I wouldn't be ranting about this bullshit. But if you want an example of actual goddamn sexism, that is just fucking blatant as hell, this is a good example. This is a goddamn good example. And it pisses me the fuck off.
You know what's interesting, Nick? I cuss in general. Like when you can tell when I'm not really angry, or when I am really angry because I don't cuss as much. You are exactly the opposite, and I don't think Brandon's ever heard, you say these words before. So, but anyway, or our audience really, but yeah, I have to agree. Hasbro has screwed up with this one, uh, and it's not like it's anything new. Going back to the '80s, like with Transformers and My Little Pony, and even GI Joe. Well, GI Joe was probably kind of the in between here. The GI Joe figures, you had it. It was marketed more towards little boys and little girls, and then that's fine, and whatever. But GI Joe actually did have a lot of female characters in it, and that was good. That was helpful. It was interesting, and it was able to appeal to a lot of people. But My Little Pony, something like that appealed excuse me, was supposed to be marketed towards little girls, okay? And it has been.
But now they got bronies, so,
Yeah, like, I'm a brony. I like My Little Pony Friends of Magic. I like the show. It's a good show. It has a very positive message, I've actually
heard that from a lot of people.
It's a good show. And see, I'll be honest with you. I have a Rainbow Dash figure sitting across the room from me. I have never purchased a My Little Pony figure before until this. Because I like the character. I like what now she's not my favorite pony. Twilight is, and I probably should have gotten Twilight, but I didn't. I had a chance to get Rainbow Dash. I got her. It doesn't matter, okay? I'm 33 years old, and I like a cartoon show that's supposed to be aimed for little girls. Because Hasbro didn't screw up with this one. Hasbro did it right. They realized that they had a lot of male fans, and they've embraced them. That's good. But all their other product lines are actually suffering from it. One of the things that I noticed the most, like from all this, what sexism, whatever you want to apply to it, is Transformers. Okay, in the 80s, they had to just magically produce female Transformers because, well, there was a concern that this is not a show for little girls. Okay, so in the 86 movie, they introduced RC. Okay, well, they also introduced Moonracer, Elita 1, and I forget the rest of the names. They're all just shoehorned in there. They never got a toy. The female Transformers never got a toy. In fact, the first female, the actual designated as a female character that we got wasn't even in Beast Wars, and there were female Transformers in Beast Wars. Well, I take it back. Two. No, 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 no. We did with Beast Wars. We got Black Arachnia, but her figure was her toy was just a repaint of the Tarantulas one. Like you didn't even have to know that she was female. Um, but the first one that was visually designed to be a female did not come out until um, Transformers Animated, somewhere around there, which was late 90s, like very late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere around there. Uh, and it wasn't until later on, like around Transformers Prime, that you started seeing actual female Transformers. Okay, and if you remember like the live action Bayformer movies, uh, they created female Transformers just for that, and they were all the same thing. They all turned into motorcycles. Okay, and they were all named RC. Yay! Yay! You've gone back to having the same name. Now, see, this raises a question for me, and we've talked about this on the show before. Why do they need to be female? Okay, like why do we need to have robots that are female? I think that's kind of silly. But at the same time, if you want to market a toy for somebody, if you really want to market a toy to somebody, you need to have
a robot and a daddy robot really love each other.
Yeah. When they love one another, they go to the machine, press a couple buttons, and boom, there's your child. Which is ridiculous because the Transformers storyline says that all Cybertronians are constructed. They're not. Like they don't have a use for gender. In fact, it's often like, for example, in the movies they kind of reference this, like when they have Jazz talk like he's some sort of gangster rapper type thing. Like, well, where did you learn this? The internet. They they pick up certain things that make them more representable to us, but it's human characteristics that's put on them. Okay, but back more to the point. Um, Hasbro has kind of dropped the ball for years. I mean, they really don't give a lot of characters, the due they should have. Like just like with Ray, there should have been Ray figures because if you look back at uh, excuse me, the Star Wars, the Clone Wars, I'm sorry, Attack of the Clones, that line when that came out, every goddamn Jedi got an action figure. There was, I think, one clone trooper in the initial wave of figures. One clone trooper. It wasn't until wave 2 and 3 that you started getting more diverse forms of clones. But every Jedi was in wave 1. Every Jedi. Like the Anna Secura figure I had, wave 1. And she wasn't even part of that. She didn't really even come in the story until episode 3. Why was she there? Okay? All the figures that people wanted, which in this case would have been the clones, which is fine, whatever. You didn't get those until later. So why is it we're having to wait for the main character in The Force Awakens until after everyone else gets theirs? That's
the weirdest thing to me. Is that okay? In Transformers and the other shows you were talking about, the female characters tend to be the side characters. Often they're shoehorned in, like you said, or new characters, or not main characters in any way, sense, or form. And that's not the case here. Ray is literally the main character. Like, you might be able to get away with that with those other examples because they are side characters. They are not essential to the story, essentially. They're
Actually,
not. They're
RC is
just
pretty
not.
is actually pretty central to the Transformer storyline from '86 onward. She was a main character. She was the only
Well,
main character in the series to not get an action figure.
well, okay. Other than RC though, I mean, usually they're just not doing the side characters. You might be able to get away with that with the side characters, and only a few people will bitch. But this is the main character. I cannot wrap my head around this. Did they not watch the movie? I'm legitimately asking. Did they watch the movie? Did people keep the movie? Because I'm pretty sure that who I forgot who has the rights to it. Anyways, I'm pretty sure that they went to Hasbro and they sent them the movie once it was done. I can almost guarantee you that JJ told them that Ray is the main character because JJ is really pissed off about the lack of Ray action figures. I read a story about a mom who wanted to throw her daughter a Star Wars themed birthday party with Rey as the central figure, and she couldn't find anything. And I'm like, what the hell? I I have never been more mad about this. I I I I, I'm just really pissed off.
I remember some Facebook meme. It was like a movie made with a woman and a minority would never succeed, they said, and then it had like the amount of money that the Star Wars 7 movie made. And I guess you could change that to being the toy one.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah,
literally it might become the most best-selling movie of all time. Of all time. I
even beating
like
out
I can
Avatar, which, if I'm not mistaken, um, there were.
Avatar was a terrible movie. It was a
Well,
terrible movie.
well, it
I
it
guess they're
it,
planning on making a second one.
It
it
was
had its good
visually
points and
pretty,
bad
but it
points.
was a
But what I was
terrible
going to say
movie.
is, as far as the figures that were released, there was a Neytiri figure. Okay, we actually got her,
That's true.
and yeah, there
You got
was.
also the Doctor from it too.
Yeah, all these characters get their own damn figure. And, oh! Wait a minute! I just thought of something else that Hasbro has done wrong. The Guardians of the Galaxy action figure line did not have. I just forgot her name. I am a horrible person for forgetting the name.
What's her name?
Yeah, I noticed they didn't have her.
Gamora.
Yeah, thank you. There was not a Gamora figure in there, and she's a main character. She's in the majority of the movie. Like she's kind of the reason the Guardians of the Galaxy come into existence. Didn't get an action figure, but Groot got one. Groot was actually divided up between actually all of the other male characters in the movie. All these stupid characters that are kind of. Now, I'm not saying Groot's stupid. I'm just saying, it's stupid in
Groot, he's a silly character concept. Yeah.
it's stupid to me that all these characters, that aren't really central to the story, and for the most part. Now, again, I'm
Well,
not saying I'm not saying
I,
this isn't about Groot, because Groot is important. He has a functional role. I'm saying in general,
yeah,
that all these
yeah.
background characters that don't matter, particularly in Star Wars, which because George Lucas had a brilliant idea of every single character in Star Wars, every character getting an action figure. Why do people have to wait January, February, March, 3 months to get the Rey action figures? This movie came out around Christmas. The toys were released nearly a month before the movie was out, and there was no Rey action figures. And like I said, she was the
Well, maybe
single most
they
searched.
might even produce a limited number of her, just to make her hard to get.
They didn't do
to
that
do
even.
this.
They
They
When
didn't even do
didn't do
that.
the
that.
second GI Joe movie came out, there were tons of Roadblock figures. Gee, so many. And I never ever did find the her name's not Scarlet because they got rid of Scarlet. Lady J. Never did find the Lady J.
There probably wasn't one
I know
made.
they made her. And I looked her up on eBay one time, and it was a scalper's price because they didn't make enough.
This just blows my mind. How did no one in Hasbro think about this and just say, we should probably have a Rey figure?
Well, see,
I mean, she is the main character.
My thing is, if I can stop coughing for long enough to say this.
Too big to care.
Yeah. They're too big to care.
They are.
Okay.
I want a new toy company. I want new toy companies.
Well, see, give me a minute, and I'm gonna get into someone who's doing a spectacular job with their toy line. But anyway, I kind of think that Hasbro is doing it for a marketing scheme. Like, they want to keep generating interest in Star Wars, so they're going to make you wait 3 months to get the things you actually want, which is fine if you're going to promise something worthwhile, okay? It's sort of like...
But Hasbro's been being lame with their Star Wars action figures to begin with. I spent $13 on the only Poe Dameron figure that there was until about 2 weeks ago, where they had him in a pilot suit with an entirely different head sculpt, which is good but kind of annoying. I collect the head sculpts for my stop motion, so that's why it matters. But they had this cheesy one with special armor in this box that was way too large for it for $13, and it had no elbows, it had no, ankles, no knee joints, and I had to knuckle down and buy them because I use these heads for my stop motions. I was like, I don't have that head, and I'm glad I did buy it. But $13, I was paying like $4 for a piece of armor that wasn't even fancy, or Hasbro started releasing these, or maybe that's Mattel. Maybe no Hasbro. These Iron Man figures where they have no elbows or knee joints.
Yeah.
And they're like $6, and sometimes they're $9, but not to. So you wait till they get marked down for $6, And those are cheap figures. They're cheap figures, but their heads come off. So I got a few for head sculpts. But they're not doing that with the Star Wars line. Finn was the same way. Finn has no articulation really, and they even put the same Finn in the box with an armor piece. And I was like, that's the same figure. You're charging like $4 for a piece of armor. That's not even in the movie as far as I could tell. Could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure you're talking about the little jetpack looking thing, which is supposedly, it's not supposedly, it's supposed to combine to make a droid. So you're supposed to get all the figures in Wave 1. Hint, hint, spend more of your money on these figures that have no
the
posability.
Regular Finn came with that weird backpack thing. I'm telling you, there was this special $13 box with the same Finn in it and a special piece of armor. So you had to pay extra for it.
Woohoo! Now see, like,
that's the same thing. That's the same thing, and it still has no articulation. I don't mind Hasbro making cheaper figures if the figures are going to be cheaper.
But why would they do that? I mean, let's see, I have to pause for a minute because everyone in the audience right now is getting to see a portion of your collection. So just know, just so no one misunderstands. You have a lot of time and money invested in these figures. Okay, like it's actually a big deal for you, especially for being a stop motion animator, that you're able to have the like the movement, like the toys, excuse me, have to be quality enough that you can actually
I'm all about
animate
articulation.
them.
when you're an animator, it counts.
And see,
and some of those figures, I've stolen their heads because I'm making my own Gundam side story, and my Joes are kept in special containers for the custom painted ones and things like that, and the heads are kept in a bin so I can dig through and keep the variety changing as I film random grunts. So I don't really display them, but the Star Wars figures with no articulation, I just throw them up on my eBay store because they're useless to me.
They are.
Because they have no articulation. I can't animate somebody who has no elbow. It's going to look dumb. You know what I mean? If I absolutely needed that person, I would use them. But you know, it's highly unlikely. I'd rather just use someone who has an elbow.
It was something that when the Phantom Menace came out, the action figures actually had articulation. I mean, like they had for example, the Obi-Wan Kenobi action figure. You could turn his head from side to side. You could actually rotate his arms all the way around. He had elbows that would swivel. He could turn his hands. Now, he had jack for leg articulation, but he had waist articulation, and he had hips. So either leg could actually move. You know, like his entire upper body was able to, it was not,
I really like when they put the heads on ball joints. Some of them they've stopped doing that for. I'm glad Hasbro didn't completely abandon it.
Well, their current ball joint system is stupid. I'm sorry, Hasbro, but it's stupid.
It is rather stupid. I don't understand why they don't learn from the G.I. Joe division. Because, G.I. Joe is, now, the basics about G.I. Joes, I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but is that they just reuse sculpts. They mix the arms, they mix the legs, occasionally they release a new head sculpt. But more or less, the G.I. Joe neck peg is compatible. And if it's not compatible, it's pretty darn close. Whereas Star Wars, everybody and their grandmother and their stormtrooper and Rey, oh wait, no, not Rey, has a totally unique ball joint. So sometimes you rip a head off and there's this massive ball there. And other times, it's pretty normal and things like that. The extra big ones actually make it kind of easier because I fill the void with hot glue and make it fit on the G.I. Joe figures so they can have that articulation and stuff. But it's kind of a waste of money to have a different ball joint for every single person's head.
It is because, see, here's the thing. They had their design teams who come up with these things. Now, for example, like with, okay, we'll just
why not share information?
Yeah.
I mean, the Star Wars line could use some of the articulation that the G.I. Joe line has. It would be awesome.
You kind of mentioned, like using the molds or everything, okay? Here's my thing. I like Transformers. I've talked about it before, okay? With the current line, there's maybe 10 or so individual figures as far as Combiner Wars goes. There may be some slight retooling of the molds, but they're essentially the exact same damn thing. And Transformers are not cheap. I don't know if you've noticed this. They're not cheap. So to get
they're being made cheap.
Yeah, they are. They are made cheap.
Die cast in the day, die cast and plastic, and they lasted.
My favorite example of how far Hasbro has gone is if you look at the movie figures, okay, yes, they're complicated to transform, but for the most part, they had some actual effort into sculpting. They may not have had, the best paint jobs and everything, but they did have some decent sculpting. Like they had, cables and stuff, carved in the, in the mold, and then look good. The first movie figures were really good. They were solid chunks. But then you start getting, figures later on, and they have these like holes and whatnot cut out of them just to save plastic, and it's cheaper plastic, and they break very, 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 very easily. And that's a problem. Now, on certain figures, if you're going to make something very large, well, you don't want it to be heavy, okay? But this actually backfired with the Metroplex figure. The weight of it was actually the complaint that most people had. Like when they reviewed it, that was what they complained about the most, because you're dealing with a figure that is the size of a small child. Okay, it's about 3 feet tall. They're 4 feet tall. Whenever you
Well,
stand
wouldn't
them
it
up.
have weight if it was that big?
What's that?
Well, wouldn't it have a lot of weight if it was that big? I mean, that's
You would
is
think.
that
I
what
mean,
you're saying?
I mean, we're dealing
I would
with
expect
like
it
it's like I said, it's a
to
toy
have weight
that's about the
if
size
it's
of a
that
small
big.
child. Okay, it's a big damn toy, and it folds out, to become a carrier and the city and everything. Like it's huge. But what it is for example, like the legs and everything. That's just little panels that kind of fold up in on themselves. That's all it is. The arms are like able to be folded out into things. I mean, it's essentially a shell former, except it doesn't really have that shell. And for those of you who don't know what I mean by shell former, um, if you can find a review of the uh, the latest Transformers movie version of Galvatron, what he is, like the truck to robot thing, all of his cab essentially just kind of folds in to panels, and he becomes and he becomes this thing having this giant stupid backpack. Okay, the Prime figure did the same thing. Like most of the truck just sits on his back. He just kind of unfolds, and there he is, and like that, and that's what a shell form is. Like it's something that has something that doesn't really transform. It may collapse on itself, which is fine if it does for the most part. But when you're talking about something that's 4 feet tall and is $200, you don't want it to be something like that. Like you don't want it to be cheap. And that was the number
Yeah.
one complaint, is that it was kind of flimsy. The legs and arms were essentially hollow. The entire chest was hollow except for the electronics, and and when you pick him up at once, he's kind of heavy, but just the fact that it was all hollow construction for the most part kind of let people down. Because you expect something like this to be big and heavy because it's a big and heavy toy. You don't want to spend $200 on this thing and have it up on a shelf and it get bumped and fall over and then freaking shatter, which is what could happen. You could
Yeah.
break the figures. You don't
Every
want that.
toy should be able to survive the drop test.
They
A
should.
4 foot, not thrown drop
Yeah.
uncrushed.
It should get just like your phone should be able to survive a drop test.
But I think there's a bigger issue happening. This isn't for all things, but it's something that needs pondered. I don't have the answer, and I'm not sure what the issue is exactly. But consider this. We've reached the height of articulation for a lot of Hasbro's toys. But all of a sudden, we're even seeing some G.I. Joes where they're nixing the legs and the knee joints and the elbows for vehicle G.I. Joes and things like that. Toy sales, I don't know how Hasbro's doing and things like that, but I've talked to other people with eBay stores, stores that are bigger than mine, sell different things than me, and they're seeing toy sales going down over the years. They're going down, they're steadily going down to the point where I've been selling Gundam MSAA action figures for years. I'm probably going to stop selling them here at some point just because I can't get them, and I can't, even if I had them, I'm not selling them fast enough. And my prices are pretty fair and better than a lot of my competition. But I'm talking about a big thing, so that's not all by itself. So I made the decision, it was a difficult decision because I love Gundam, that we would mostly focus on military toys for our eBay store. And so not yesterday, 2 or 3 days ago, I called my toy supplier because We had some awesome toys from them. They were out of stock. I wanted to make sure I got some more, and they're going to restock sometime in February. They're closing. They're in the middle of closing. They get their toys from China, and this company has always been very forthright with things. So, there was this debacle over the last year where most of their military toys weren't there. They just kept not getting sent from China, and because the factory wasn't producing them in China. And one of the things that's changing in China is that people aren't willing to work for peanuts. Capitalism is changing China, literally. And so people are going and finding different jobs, and they're having trouble finding cheap labor to produce cheap toys. And this isn't the only reason why this place is closing. And they were a great company. But I don't even know where I'm going to get my military toys now. I had a place I was going to branch out into,
I think that's one of the biggest problems, though, is that we've built so many things based on cheap labor that now that cheap labor is getting harder to find.
Yeah, I kind of expect that China is going to become, a major, they're already becoming a major country, but that cheap labor is going to leave China. It's going to have the same problem we did. Labor's going to leave.
And then it's going to migrate.
Manufacturing is going to leave and go to India. Once it's India and India gets too big, then they'll go to Africa until, the whole world's been industrialized.
Yeah, Southeast Asia. But eventually they need to find a way to not use cheap labor as the primary source of profit.
Yeah.
Because as long as that's happening, we're going to run into problems like this.
We are. And, there's the bigger problem, and I don't want to dive into it entirely, but our own economy.
Oh, yeah.
People aren't buying toys as much right now.
Because,
why?
Well, part of the problem
I have the answer, but it's happening.
Well, part of the problem
it's not just the China issue. It's happening.
They don't have the money to spend on the toys. The toys are becoming more expensive because the labor prices are going up in the countries that they're traditionally made, and our income has not gone up proportionally by any means.
No.
So
what I would like to do is to carry this brand called Timmy Toys. They're American-made Army men and military toys, and their wholesale is like 4 times higher, and so that's quite the endeavor to try and branch out into with a small collateral. But made here in America, if we valued American jobs,
Yeah, if we were paying the prices that should be paid to our workers, they would have the money to go spend on toys.
Yeah.
They would have the money. I would be able to go buy a toy. I would. I can't buy a toy.
We might not be able to buy as much stuff. We would be able to buy better stuff.
Yeah, and I can't go buy toys because they're just too expensive.
But we can't raise the minimum wage. We can't possibly make it, so that the average person in the country who's going to be buying these toys can afford them. We certainly can't give them more money. Are you crazy? Who would possibly want more money? Oh, right, the big corporations like Hasbro.
This has always been one of the weirdest arguments to me, because if you study business at all, there's something called the money cycle or the business cycle.
Yeah.
Which is basically, companies make money and then they repay that money to their workers. And then the workers buy things from the businesses. Well, when you stop paying your workers, guess what? The business cycle slows down, and it becomes harder to sell
I can give a good illustration of that. I'm not sure minimum wage fixes a whole lot, raising it. Not saying that it's a bad direction to go, but I used to work in a grocery store. Having worked there in that grocery store, we had a slightly above minimum wage pay, which was nice, but it was small still. And if I wasn't doing other work on the side, we wouldn't have made ends meet. Well, we bought
Yeah.
the cheapest groceries that they had. We bought the cheapest meat. We bought the best save or the always save brand vegetables, the store brand.
Yeah.
Minimum wage gets approved for Missouri to go up. Yay! Like 2 weeks later, before the minimum wage even took effect, they gave me these price changes for all the cheap vegetables. And I'm like, dude, that's the food I eat. It doesn't, I'm not sure it solves a whole lot. I'm not saying it's a bad direction. I'm just saying, like, before it even really took effect, it started hurting me. I actually started shopping at Aldi's, which is a Midwest grocery store type place, where you put a quarter in to get your cart, and you get your quarter back when you put your cart back, and
Well,
yeah, we had to buy groceries where I didn't work.
I mean, there's a lot of problems, obviously.
And I worked full time, It wasn't a 20-hour-a-week job.
It's like, how are these companies making all of this money, but they can't pay their workers?
Because they get it's interesting how we started off talking about politics and stupid decisions that corporations make, politicians, and now we're actually back to that, and it's because of the goddamn tax breaks. That's what it is. Like the idea that you can send your labor overseas and make more money, by spending less money, was a wonderful idea. I'm sure that was cool and all.
It sounds really good on paper, but if you do it for too long, things don't work anymore. I'm going to interrupt you, though. I was talking to another eBay seller, and I said, China's a weird thing. You can buy for 99 cents and have it shipped to you for free. And he said, it's not free. Our government is paying for it. We're literally paying for that free shipping from China.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, try it. Next time your HDMI cord breaks, go on eBay. You can find them for 99 cents with free shipping from China. And it'll get to you in a week or two.
Yep.
No, I like 99 cents, don't get me wrong, but it's better than the $14.50 that.
Like,
I feel like this does not cost $14.50.
I know a lot of people that buy cosplays from China because they can get it for dirt cheap from China. Cosplay outfits.
Oh yeah.
You can get those for dirt cheap from China, and the price difference is ridiculous. And if it costs that little to make in China, why are we paying that much for the same product in America?
Oh yeah, yeah. I like to buy action figures from a company called Cinodolls on eBay, and they'll sometimes have the same figures that are in the store, but they might not have their accessories, and there's no packaging, and it's like $4, And at the store it's $13. And you're like, well, this isn't a hard decision,
Yeah.
Like years ago,
I'm guilty. I will note this. I'm guilty. I run a business that has bought toys from China, mostly because it's the only place to buy it. My endeavor has been to become large enough where I can afford Timmy toys and things like that, because I think that's awesome.
I mean, you have to do what you have to do. I mean, it's a realistic business thing. But you're not the one that set the business environment for this. I mean, the business environment has been set years in the making, and it's a terrible business environment.
It is. It is.
It's terrible.
It's just like you said, sending our jobs overseas, but thinking that's going to work long term. We're reaching the long term.
Yeah.
And it's starting to show. This recession was blowing off steam compared to what's going to come down the line.
Well, and it comes from back in the 80s when we had that big economic boom because everyone started sending their jobs overseas. and destroying the manufacturing in
Actually, it
America.
goes back further than that. It actually goes back to Kennedy in 1963
Well,
when he signed a law in effect that said that 1% of the textile industry in the United States, 1% of just this one industry could go overseas. Fast forward, by the time you get to Reagan, and it was a lot more than that. Fast forward to now, it's now 95% of just textiles, just clothing alone, is overseas. That is, and it was opened up to everything. Like it's such a lucrative business model for people to do that even companies like Walmart were doing it back in the 90s. Walmart was doing this shit. Walmart and their American-made goods. Like I remember when the Walmart Supercenter here opened. It was all American made. It was all American made. And then within 5 years, you start seeing stuff that was made in China everywhere, everywhere in China, everywhere. Toys,
And it's dirt
clothing,
cheap, and
everything
it's
else was
really
all
nice
overseas.
for a time. But it will catch up with you. I remember
It
I
does.
saw somebody selling Timmy toys on eBay, and I thought, I'd like to review these for my YouTube channel because I'm a toy reviewer. I asked him if I bought 5 packs, which we're talking a pretty serious chunk of change, maybe $60 or something, $70, if I could get a deal. Guy never even wrote me back. Well, later, about 6 months later, I get a hold of Timmy Toys myself, and I found out why that guy didn't even respond to me. There's no wiggle room. Nada. There's no wiggle room in it. There really isn't. And so if we were to make a purposeful decision as a nation and as a people, it would be to bring manufacturing back, that you and I would have to initially be paying more for things than we pay now, and that would kind of suck, and we'd all gripe and complain like we are now.
In the long term, it would be better.
And also, the economy would be better. Our economy would be healthy. We would be paying a bit more so that people can actually feed their children. At the same time, we'd have to choose not to be so greedy ourselves. Unions have done great things in our country, but sometimes you read these union articles and it's like, manufacturers of automotives in Michigan decided that they needed $45 an hour for their factory labor. It's like, $45 an hour? I mean, yeah, I'd like to make $45 an hour, but do I need $45 an hour? No, I'll do fine with, 10 or 12. I'll just be thrifty.
But see, the sad thing is you can't really be thrifty anymore. I mean, the last time, literally the last time that it was possible. Okay, no, wait, hang on a minute. Okay, the stereotype. Okay, okay. Let me get my thoughts in order here. The stereotype for minimum wage is that it's just, some dumbass teenager who didn't, who's just out of high school and is making money to try and spend before college. The last time that was the stereotype was true was in the 1970s, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about this before. But by the time you get to the mid 80s, the mid to late 80s, things were changing, and now the average minimum wage worker is in our age range. They're 35, and they're having to work 2 and 3 jobs.
And they're even older than that.
Yeah, the average age is about 35, and they have at least 2 kids, and they're working 2 to 3 jobs just to make ends meet.
Loans and a mortgage.
Just to get by.
And a brand new car. Some of these decisions weren't good ones.
I mean,
but still.
Currently, I think you have to work something like 100 hours a week to be able, you have to work 100 hours a week to be able to, even accomplish anything. The 40-hour work week thing is a myth now, because
in order to bring manufacturing back to the U.S., it's going to have to change on a government level, because one company within an industry is not going to do it, because their prices would probably go up twice as much initially. And everyone would go, I'm not paying that for a car. I'm not paying that for some army men. I could get those from China for half that price.
And I mean, another factor is that I mean, the price of labor being too high or way too low, management just is making ridiculous amounts of money compared to the workers. I mean, some managers are making in the millions of dollars while losing money. While their company is failing, they're getting literally paid millions of dollars.
You know what you never hear anyone talk about with political runnings and police or president candidacy? Now, I could be wrong. I live in a hole. But bringing manufacturing back to the U.S.
Yeah,
Why? Because
actually,
the people who are paying
candidate
his
who
ticket to run for president would be ticked off.
There actually is a candidate who discusses that, and it's Bernie. He's the only one. Now, see, here's the thing. A lot of Republicans say, well, we're going to bring jobs back to America because look what Obama has done. Obama has brought something like 10 million jobs back to the United States. I'm sorry. It's a proven fact. If you look at Bush's record, employment went high. Like right now, it's the lowest it's been since about 9/11. You know, it's pretty low right now. I think the United States is at like 5% unemployment.
Asked. You know,
it's like
are they minimum wage service jobs? What our country is becoming is a service industry.
Oh yeah, it's been a service.
I'm a fireman at Jiffy Lube.
Well, no, it is becoming a service industry. It's been a service industry. It has been a service industry for a long time now.
Which is fine and all, but if you're going to have employees in the industry, they do need to make more. And realistically, the only way to fix this is to inject more money into the system. And now, see, I learned this from a teacher in high school. I learned it from a teacher in high school. And this woman is since retired, but I ran into her last week, I think. And, it was pretty interesting, to see she still says the same thing. You have to pay people more. You have to pay them a higher amount so that way they can compete with the cost of living. My current favorite example of this is Uber. A lot of cities are trying to put Uber out. Like they don't want Uber drivers to be there because they're offering cab drivers more money than what they make. Like the average Uber employee makes $14.20 an hour. Minimum wage is $7.25. I would rather drive my own car around and, spend my own gas money and everything else and probably get murdered because we all know what happens to cab drivers. I would rather deal with that than to go work at Walmart because fuck Walmart. I'm sorry. I hate Walmart. It pisses me off. Walmart's a $13 billion.
Walmart. If they had GI Joes, but they don't.
Well, see, Walmart is a $13 billion a year industry. Okay, it is the wealthiest corporation in the world right now.
Ask any Walmart employee, and they will strictly watch their hours. They'll set people's schedules for 39 hours and pay them that 40th hour rather than risk paying them overtime.
Well, see, Walmart has actually gotten so bad.
If you go over your 39 hours, I knew a guy that worked in the Walmart, not the store, but the place where they send the stuff to the stores, because it was right next to our Walmart in Missouri. So if you go over, they fire you.
Yeah, and see, here's the thing. Walmart actually cut down their average employee hours to qualify for coverage under the Affordable Care Act, which has to be paid for by the company. Again, $13 billion industry here. To qualify, for the company to pay for it, the average employee has to make 30 hours. Walmart cut down employee hours to 29. Specifically, to have to avoid
more jobs, though. That makes more jobs.
Yeah, that makes more jobs. Yeah, sure. That's why Walmart has got the highest rate of people who are on government assistance programs. Walmart does not cover dental. Walmart does not cover most health insurance. and you're literally starving to work at Walmart for pennies, what it amounts to.
But once a year, you can have 10% off anything in the store.
Yay! Save money and live better at Walmart. No, no. You might save money, but you're definitely not living better because you're not paying your employees a living wage. Now see again, I'm a Republican. I'm a Republican. I'm one of the red wearing elephant people. Okay, and I'm saying we need to pay people more. Like I'm sorry. Like whatever argument someone can make against that, that's fine. I'm perfectly willing to listen to your argument, but the fact is that if you want to fix the economy, you have to have money in the economy. And the easiest way to do that is to pay people more, not just give them all the jobs.
I think the most permanent way to fix the economy, though, is to start changing our government infrastructure where I love getting cheap stuff from China. I love how we don't get taxed to death. Like I ship stuff in it for eBay to other countries. And sometimes I get this angry person, my government told me that I owe you another $20. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You do not owe me $20. You pay that $20, it's never coming to me. They're lining their own pockets. There's something other governments have done, though.
It would also
to that degree, but to make people buy from their own country, to break manufacturing want to be in country. And until we bring manufacturing back, which is going to take a government effort, as much as I don't like the government strong-arming anyone, things aren't going to improve. You can raise the minimum wage, but you're going to have the same problem. And you're just going to have to raise it again. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying
there's actually a lot of money available for those corporations to pay their employees, and it's currently being held overseas. You know why?
Because they don't get taxed to death over there.
Yeah. So a good way that we could, inject a whole ton of money into the economy is, I don't know, we just tax the money overseas.
Oh no, we can't have higher taxes. Are you insane? We can't pay higher taxes. Oh wait, we can pay higher taxes because we did.
It's literally not higher taxes; it's taxes they owe.
Yeah,
I know, but see, actually, I can solve all of our problems right now. Brandon, you're gonna hate me for this, but do away with the tax loopholes like we have for people that want to declare themselves a church. Okay, now I don't mean like a small church. That's fine. You can have your tax break. But if someone like Joel Osteen comes, like if I'm president and Joel Osteen's like, well, can I have a tire hack break? No, damn it, you can't. You make $6 million every Sunday. No, I'm sorry. You're not getting a higher tax break because look at your house. Look at your house. Jesus walked into the temple and whipped the money changers. He was against money in churches. You're not supposed to do this, okay? I'm sorry. But no, it's wrong. Now, I think it's something like, the tax breaks for just the Catholic Church alone would add $3 billion into our economy. Just getting rid of their taxes, and that's not a year. That's not a year. That's a month.
Change our tax system completely. If everyone either tax everyone fairly, everyone, or tax on things that aren't food. Let's face it. If I have more money, I'm going to buy a big screen television. I'm going to buy more toys. I am.
I'm an accountant that would like to become a tax accountant because they want the money. Get rid of my job, please. Please get rid of my job. Dude, just get rid of my job. Get rid of the tax loopholes. Make it so my job.
Get rid of income tax to begin with, and you replace it with something better.
Nah, that's hard to do.
Well, see,
because
so it's bringing manufacturing back, but things aren't going to get a whole lot better until we do.
The problem with getting rid of the income tax is you run into the same problem as the foreign tax, which is that as long as people don't spend the money, well, it doesn't get taxed.
But that's why I said you have to put more money in the system. Like one of the easiest ways to solve this is to pay people more. Like it's a simple solution. Okay, if people have more money to spend, if people have more money to spend, ideally for less work. In fact, you could cut down someone's hours as long as you pay them more. But they're going to have more money to spend. I mean, like, look at this from like a local perspective.
I used to work for a funeral home. I got paid a decent wage for working at the funeral home. I was only part-time. I worked about 30 hours a week. But it was a good paycheck. Because they didn't need me full-time.
But, like, this is why I bring up Uber. You know, Uber is it's a grassroots type company. I mean, really, to work for them, you have to be 21 or older. You have to have a vehicle that works, ideally 2005 or newer. You have to have a smartphone, and that's really it. Well, and clean driving record. That's it. Okay, and you can make nearly $15 an hour. Now, there are some cities where you will not make that much, or certain times of the day where you won't make that much, but it works out to $14.20 an hour. That's a lot of damn money for driving your car around. Okay. Now that Uber driver is going to have more money to spend. They're going to be able to go buy more things. Now it's not really going to matter where it comes from, except for the fact that if it's a corporation overseas, like in China, that company's not going to see that much money. At least the employees there won't. Okay, and
no, they won't. That's why they've been leaving. They've been leaving.
But here's the thing.
That I used to buy toys from, they said they're having a hard time finding cheap labor. This is a while ago, but they're having trouble. The factories are having a hard time finding cheap labor because they can get better jobs in the city. They're going for them. But you can't blame them for that.
But see, that's why you put more money into it. Like these people. Okay, if those people over there are making more, they'll want to have those jobs more. Now I understand. People are going to say, well, you can't pay them more. You're going to have to hire those people. No, you hire more people. Okay, you hire more people, pay them more, because the more people that just look at Walmart. Damn, it's pitiful. I can keep going back to Walmart and showing how bad a company they are. If you go into a Walmart anywhere in the country, you're probably only going to find 5 or 6 checkout lines open, at most. Okay, the reason is Walmart intentionally understaffs. Intentionally put more people there. That is the most frustrating damn thing in the world. To go to Walmart and you want to go to a checkout line, and you have to wait for 2 hours to be able to check out because you only have a handful of people there. If you fill up, like ours has got about 30 different, 30 different registers in the front of the store. If you put someone in every one of them, that's a brand new job. You've created a new job. Pay them more. Get them there to work. Let them enjoy their job. They'll make more money. They'll spend more money, and the customers will be happier because there's someone there to actually help them. I mean, like at some point in time,
stacking a house of cards.
To steal a phrase
from stacking a house of cards.
So basically, what all we're saying is, Hasbro sucks. They need to hire more workers. They need to pay their workers more, and vote for Bernie.
Yeah, I mean, like.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like Brandon, I'm not trying to negate, you saying bringing jobs back here, because we do need to do that. We need to have, more emphasis on putting people back to work. Like that's really the ultimate goal here. But
honestly,
in the meantime, you're going to have to incentivize people to want to go to work. And
honestly, why can't we do both? Why can't we do both?
You can.
That's way too hard.
You can.
The things we were talking about to begin with were hard, but both? No.
I mean, it seems like if we did both your idea and Brandon's idea, I don't know, that seems like a good idea to me.
It's as if it's a solution to a problem,
Maybe I'm a crazy person for thinking we can do two things.
Sometimes to fix something that's really, really broken, you have to break it.
Maybe
you have to have it rebroken.
Maybe I'm being too progressive.
But see, here's the crazy thing. you wouldn't have to raise taxes either. Think about that for a second. Currently, people are talking about, oh, we're going to have a 12% tax rate. Oh my God! Ah! Ronald Reagan had a 20% tax rate. Dwight D. Eisenhower had an 80% tax rate. Franklin Delano Roosevelt had a 95% tax rate. Okay, we're talking about people who made a lot of damn money were being taxed on it, and they were fine doing it because it made them more money. It made them more money. It was an investment in the economy. But now we're like, oh my God, a 12% tax rate. No politician has ever gotten into an office with an idea to solve a problem, and it cost no one any money at all. Period. Never happened. We need to have a higher tax rate because we have a lot of problems.
We're having a hard time affording food to begin with.
We have a lot of problems. Just the infrastructure of our nation, like the roads, everything else are in very bad repair, and they need to be repaired. We need that tax money. There needs to be more people paying tax. Like, in fact, you know what? The only way the tax, like a flat tax would work, like Ben Carson and everyone else's proposed would work, is if you have more people paying the taxes. Currently, we have 125 million people in the United States who pay their taxes. Okay, if every one of them paid an equal amount, you still wouldn't have the money. You would still need to get everyone else paying taxes. So guess what? You have to put people back to work. You have to have an incentive for them to go. The easiest incentive is to pay them more money. Because if you pay them more money, you can tax them more, and you don't have to worry about raising tax rates for this group over here or lowering it over here and screwing with everything like every Republican candidate and everyone but Bernie wants to do. Bernie wants to make people have a chance to get back to work and then tax them more reasonably. Why can't we do that? I'm sorry, but excuse me, socialism works in that respect. It really does.
That's not socialism. That's actually capitalism.
Yeah, it is capitalism.
Literally capitalism. It's not socialism.
It's Hasbro to make better toys.
Yeah, Hasbro, make better toys.
In a capitalist society, people make more money, and we get better quality products. In fact, socialism is the opposite of that. Somehow we've mixed up socialism and capitalism.
So wait, you're saying that Bernie is actually not a socialist, he's a capitalist?
Yes.
Then what are all the Republicans? Dun, 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 dun.
Socialists.
Twilight Zone theme song here.
I want the Twilight. Does anyone have the Twilight Zone? Can we find a track of the Twilight Zone?
We could, but we would probably get a copyright strike.
Can we just hum the Twilight Zone?
You can use it if it's a parody.
Thank you. Okay, that was officially a parody of the Twilight Zone.
Wait, yeah, a parody. What I don't know how to divert it. Anyway, we've been talking for like an hour and a half now, so I think this might be a good point to stop. What do you think?
I think so, because if we just made more G.I. Joes and Star Wars action figures to the economy, it would fix itself.
Yes,
and everyone would vote for Bernie.
And the world would be a better place, and there would be less sexism and need for
unicorns.
Yeah, and boys would play with girly toys apparently, or I don't know.
So it's a good thing you brought that up because this is the final thing I want to say about this topic for toys for boys and for girls. Okay, Here's the thing.
It
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a toy. 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 Don't market it for anybody. Just make the damn toy and say, here you go. It's cool. You like it, right? You're right. Okay. Here's the thing. The only time
I think it's totally fine to market, but don't limit it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. You know, eBay wants me to say, is this a toy for boys or girls? Well, mostly
just in
boys,
case anyone,
I don't want to just boys and have the girls unable to find them.
Just in case anyone mistook what I was saying, that was complete sarcasm. A Ray action figure is not a girly toy. Whoever that freaking executive was needs to be slapped. One of the stupidest things I've ever said.
It is. Like it's stupid.
Pizza. Pizza is a man's food, and you should only market it to men.
It's just a toy.
See, like, what bothers me is these stupid social constructs that we have are literally being taught to kids like that. Now imagine you have a kid who wants to go buy a toy. Okay, what's going to make that child the happiest? Oh, well, let's say I have a little son, okay, and my son wants to buy My Little Pony, and I'm looking over there at, you know, like these big wrestler action figures. I'm like, here, boy, buy this, and the kid's like, but Dad, it's a horse. It's a horse. I can have a horse, or I can have a muscle-bound person. And I'm like, okay, buy the wrestler because you're a boy. And he's like, Dad, it's a horse. He starts making horse noises and running around.
And buy them a Ray action figure from Star Wars.
What I would rather do, like in this instance, is buy my kid the horse. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what preconceived notion I have of what, you know, being masculine is. I want my child to be happy. I don't give a damn if my kid wants to have a My Little Pony action figure or he wants to have a wrestler or whatever. I want my kid to be happy. You know, so like teaching your kid to be happy and to embrace themselves, that's the most important thing. Like, it's, you know, having a little bit of empathy for what is another human being goes a long way. And there's been several people today, like Pimp Monk X has talked about it. Kazoom Fowler has talked about it today. You know, having empathy and understanding and just basic respect for someone else, you know, like for your personal preferences and your likes and dislikes, that to me is more important than having a boy toy or a girl toy. But like, it's a stupid social construct that we have. And you know, like this whole time we've been talking about, you know, a lack of Ray figures, and it's that stupid social construct that led to her not being there. I mean, like, realistically, you can say, well, we don't want to spoil it. She was already in the market, and we already knew about her. Like, the day people found out her name was, the actress's name was Daisy Ridley, she was the single most Googled person on the internet, okay? I mean, just give people what they want, let them be happy, and you solve your problems.
So yeah, vote for Bernie.
By the way, the fourth person who ever walked on the moon died today.
Oh, yes, I completely forgot about Edgar Mitchell. Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yes, we lost one of the 12 people who, now there's been like 5 or 6 of them that have died already, except for him.
Which brings me to how we can fix the colony, by colonizing the moon and mining it.
I would like colonizing the moon. The moon would be cool to go to.
I don't know why NASA keeps like, we need to look at Mars. What about the stinking moon? You have not put a base on the moon. When you put a base on the moon, I will back Mars.
I will live on that base on the moon.
Because if you can't support, I know the moon is not ideal for terraforming, whereas Mars might be a little bit closer. But if you can't support, let's face it, what are you going to do when something goes wrong on Mars?
Also, it would be an excellent launching point for missions to Mars.
Absolutely. Less gravity. I mean, sheesh.
No, you see...
How many times have we actually put people on the moon?
We explored
the whole thing and those 2 or 3 landings? Really? We found everything valuable there was to know. I know we've had rovers up there for quite a while, but rovers aren't people.
You see, what I think we need to do...
But I'm getting us onto a new subject that we don't want me to go on this late into the show.
Well,
I
it's
believe in
fine. It's
space
fine.
travel.
It's fine.
A
What
good
I
idea.
think we need to do, is move some of the human population into space. And I have an easy idea, an easy solution for this. We can build cylindrical space colonies, and the reason they're
That's a great
cylindrical,
idea.
the reason they're cylindrical is because they will rotate, and they will be able to have their own gravity. And see, we can do that, and we can put them at different
So you're
Lagrange
a
points.
commissioner, eventually president.
See, what we can do is
I reckon
is we can put them at different Lagrange points, and we can have a colony cluster, if you will, at each individual point. And
The
what we need to
furthest one
do,
would be side
what we need
three.
to do, what we need to do is we need to put all of the hyper intelligent people into one colony. Like, let's say, colony 3, okay, like colony group 3. And
I have a question
wait,
for you.
no, wait, no, wait,
Wait,
wait.
are we gonna build these colonies in giant mechanized suits?
Yes, actually, it
But those
would be
come
a good
later,
idea.
actually.
It would be a good idea to, construct some kind of giant armor that a single person could pilot and be
For
able to,
peaceful purposes only.
yeah. We'll just call it a mobile suit because that's actually a good idea. But see, what you can do is instead of calling them, like colony groups, how about we just call them side? I mean, I don't. Side just sounds better to me, And let's say we can put all of the hyper smart people in, say, side 3. All the people who are really into politics and argument in side 3, and but here's the important thing: we have to have a singular government, and I think it's best for the government to stay grounded. Like staying on Earth would be perfect. And yeah,
We could
that's what
call
we
it
can do.
Earth Federation. They could
I like that. I
represent
like that.
everyone equally, except for the colony.
And I guess well, we need a president for that, right? Let's make Bernie the president of that.
No, 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 no. Look. If we're going to have a president of the Earth Federation, he needs to be among the smart political people. So if they're inside 3, then we need to have the leader inside 3.
I don't I disagree with this.
Yeah, Zombie is a good name.
I think the Earth Federation needs to have its own leader that should rule over the colonies. That's my opinion.
So okay. Your vote is to have the leader of the Earth Federation be on Earth. Which I acknowledge. We need to have a central government. That's fine. We can put it there. But I want to put our leader over there in Colony Group 3. And Brandon, I'm gonna guess you want to have more power on the moon, right?
Yeah. We could have a Granada base, and we could have Von Braun City.
No. Look. Here's the thing. My colony group is going to declare its independence because screw all of you. We don't need the Earth Federation. We don't need you. Your government has become corrupt. Clearly, your government can no longer get along and function. It's not going to work. Like, we have all the smart people here. We're the ones who are capable of making decisions. We know what should go on. We should be independent. You know what? Screw it. We're independent. I'm sorry. We're side 3 is now independent. And screw everybody else, especially side 7. Screw side 7.
I, the representative of side 6, choose neutrality.
I feel like I've heard
look,
somewhere before.
Look, shut up, Earth. Shut up. Look, if you're going to be neutral over there in your colony, that's fine. I'll respect that. But please understand that when side 3 needs to expand, we will be coming over there.
I guess I have to help side 6 and defend it now.
Shut up, Earth. Don't make me come down there.
A funny thing. I'm watching Gundam X, and there's a character in the Federation of Gundam X who looks exactly like Giran Zabi.
There's a character. See, okay, like for those of you who are at home, you know, that have not figured it out. We're talking about Gundam.
I feel like we've covered everything.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut
you know
up.
What? If you go to war with us, we're gonna win.
No. Look.
We have the resources.
Look, damn it. Look. I'm gonna go over there to your neutral colonies, and I'm gonna attach engines to them, and I'm gonna ram it into your planet if you don't stop talking.
No.
You couldn't hit the broadside of Australia. Oh.
Well, I'm actually going to be aiming for North America.
North America.
We need to have a show entirely about Gundam.
Also about space travel.
How about next week we do that?
I want to be in space travel. I want to travel in space. Why?
Because
you're
Earth.
Easier to
you're
do,
boring.
To focus on space if we had some Cold War countries to fight against again. I'll trade the Cold War I'll trade terrorism for the Cold War any day.
I mean,
at least then we spent money on stuff that mattered.
Pretty much. But actually, I think talking about going into space will be a good topic for next week. I really do.
Okay, so are we ending the show then?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Look forward to next week, everybody. Bye.
I think so because we're like an hour and 45 minutes now. Yeah. Like it's 8 o'clock my time, and I have to go eat dinner. So.
Yeah.
I just ate
my mom says I have to go.
Pizza.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, Brandon, for being on again. Hopefully you can make it back next week.
I'm sorry for ranting so much. I'm sorry for ranting so much.
Shut up, Earth. Shut up.
I can't even apologize.
No. Look. Okay, you know what? I'm going to invade you. I'll be there in a week. How's that? A week. Actually, you know what?
I guess I'll go prepare.
Actually, you know what? I will invade and conquer you within a week. How's that?
Sure.
Brandon knows what I'm talking about.
3 days, though.
Well, I mean, I was hoping you'd invade and conquer me within 2 days, but...
No, I'll do it.
If you really want to draw it out, I guess you can.
Well, see... Anyway, thank you, Brandon, for being on the show. Nick, thank you for ranting and kind of apologizing, even though you don't have to. Like, it's good to be angry and rant. But anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please remember to like our channel, like the video, comment on it, share, subscribe, like us on Facebook. Give Brandon a look. Give him all of your Gundam buying business, damn it. And we'll talk to all of you later. Do you two want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.